when we think of Pilate, we do not see him simply as an individual, but as an individual who has behind him all of the authority of Rome itself. And there are a number of characteristics in relationship to Pilate that are worthy of our consideration. I will not delay on them, but I want to point them out to you. First of all, he was proud. He was proud. Mark tells us here that he was amazed by the silence of Jesus. In the parallel passage in John, John records that he wasn't simply amazed, but he was annoyed. And this is what he said to Jesus. You won't speak to me? Don't you know that I have authority to release you and authority to crucify you? Don't you know who I am? That's what he's saying. There is in that personal pride of position. There is in that the representative authority that is his as a servant of Rome. But Jesus' reply was very straightforward too, wasn't it? Remember, he said, listen, Pilate, you would have no authority to do anything if it were not given to you by heaven. He was proud. Secondly, he was cruel. In Mark chapter 13, you read there of his actions in mingling the blood of the martyrs with their acts of sacrifice. A picture of inhumanity. He was capable of vicious brutality. He was proud, he was cruel. Thirdly, he was shrewd. You see that in verse 10 of our passage. For he perceived that it was out of envy that the chief priests wanted him to be crucified. He wasn't conned by them, he was a shrewd character. Still in our passage, fourthly, he was a man-pleaser. It was important for him to be well thought of. It was important that he was regarded highly by those who were around him. And so wishing to satisfy the crowd, he capitulated. Fifthly, he was superstitious. Superstitious enough to pay attention when his wife said to him, and this you'll find in Matthew 27, Pilate, have nothing to do with that righteous man, for I have suffered much because of him today in a dream. So he was unsettled by the silence of Christ. He was unsettled by the statement of his wife. He was superstitious. And sixthly and finally, he was prepared to attempt the impossible. He was prepared to attempt the impossible. What was the impossible? Adopting a position of neutrality when confronted by Jesus of Nazareth. Neutrality is not an option. To meet Jesus is to find ourselves standing at a crossroads. Either we have in the New Testament the record of the birth, life, death, resurrection, ascension of the Lord Jesus and the prospect of his return, or we've got a complete fabrication. We have either got history or we've got nonsense. So when we confront Jesus of Nazareth, we can't just fob him off. We're going to have to decide. And to say, I'm taking the fifth, is to say no to him. That's what Pilate's about to discover. What do you want me to do with Jesus? What are you going to do with Jesus?